I don't know. That's all I'm trying to say. Anyway, let's go ahead and find out what our last map is. It is going to be Dragonshire.
And this is the
Tempest
map pick of Tempest, so for the first time, Supernova is going to pick that they want first pick. So in game one, Tempest was able to get first pick at the coin toss, so they got map pick. And then in game two, instead of choosing first pick, they chose the map choice, which is pretty rare. And now in game three, they do take the first pick, so Tempest is going to pick a macro map where they really have no chance to be foiled in the early game by a snowball-y comp. It's one of the longer maps in the pool as well, so it becomes very difficult to kind of cheese your way into a victory here, or at least like, snowball your way into one.
Genji ban, Phoenix ban, no big surprises here. Curious to see if we're going to have another Karazim ban. I mean, I guess I know that was specifically against Meriday in our first series, but still very, very popular.
I like the Karazim ban. It's been like, Tempest has really been, okay, well, this is just going to be a Dahaka ban now. Maybe if they don't ban Dahaka, we can control the global, but...
Control the Dahaka, control the, I don't know, Spice. Maybe this isn't Dune, but it's close.
Control the macro, man, is what they're going for.
I mean, it is a macro map, right? So that would make a lot of sense.
The Karazim ban, given how well it pairs with such aggression and really good punish plays from Sign, I think would have been smart, but they actually banned the Rainer. They leave the Dahaka open.
And it's a first ban Rainer, too. I see a lot of teams leave that for later on. First pick Maiev might have similarly been kind of pulling the trigger a little bit early, but you don't have to build a total comp around Maiev anymore.
The other thing to remember is the Yrel. That's still a factor, so if you do pick Dahaka, the enemy team is going to end up re-Yrling into a good matchup. So Yrel does come in here in the first rotation with Malfurion. And so now, we have talked about how Kirisaku has won Dahaka versus Yrel matchups, which is, like, how can you even think of that being a possibility? But is it going to happen here against Dami? It's pretty unlikely. It's still probably going to lock it in because they will get global control from it, but it doesn't really suit the Maiev comp either. So, I mean, they get it. They get what they wanted, quote-unquote, but they get the Karazim too. If they can get an Anubarak and try to, like, really, again, push into some heavy engage, and if they're confident enough to make it happen, if Habeen is able to pull the trigger, maybe we see a different third map here.
Well, you have to know, as Haben, every time, especially at the end of that last game, you saw a real difference in what the tanks were able to accomplish. For Tempest, it just looked perfect. The flawless follow-up was always there. Haben never had a team that was able to follow up on any of the engages he attempted. It's a hammer ban there at the end.
Honestly, I would have kind of liked maybe even a Diablo ban here. Hammer is very strong against very tanky front line that Supernova could have gone for with like a slower push, more control. And Garrosh does come out for Tempest. Hammer is kind of the soft counter to Garrosh on this map. A lot of teams agree with that. It was kind of Genji who started that trend. So maybe they were thinking, well, we want to run Garrosh, like he's available, he's a tank we want to run. But it's going to be a sign on a very different aggressive hero. They're just playing it slow and safe here, but there's a lot of engaged potential with Yrel and Garrosh. Jaina, the burst. Rhaegar and Anubarak comes in once again.
So they do still get the Anubarak. It's been a big power pick, not only just in HGC Korea as a whole, but also for Supernova. And it worked out very, very well. But
this is a Bloodlust comp, I think, but...
Yeah.
You're literally, and look at this throw pick, so perfect because you can just straight up ruin everything with Sundering. Yeah. Even Earthquake is like actually pretty solid here.
I mean, like, how are you going to get through that? Yeah.
You're basically doing, like with this comp with Bentham on the Maiev, it almost feels like the double support is for Karazim more than it is for the Maiev. Like, Karazim will probably top the damage charts unless Bentham is able to pop off and get a ton of Fan and Knife resets. This feels really gimmicky, cheesy in a lot of regards. I don't think that we're going to see the miraculous comeback that all the Supernova fans are looking for. Probably seeing Bible thumps in the chat because already right now the Gravekeeper is chiseling the tombstone. It is not a good sign. But let's find out how this comp is used. Let's see if in this final game maybe we can learn something about what Supernova is trying to accomplish.
Let's get into it. It is Dragonshire for what could be our final map in this series. Big map, macro map, and for Tempest, those are both very good things. For Supernova, they have gone for a little bit of a non-standard draft. Can they make it work when it counts?
That's the big question. It's going to be a lot of the time about the execution, the hesitation that has plagued Haben and his teammates. Been a big problem.
Oh, Sign walking forward. He's not in a great spot. He does get pulled back in. He's got so much armor, healing, survivability, but it's not enough in the end, and he will go down. In the end, it's a trade. So it's not the worst situation, but I mean, a 1-for-1's not the worst they could hope for, right?
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things we have to remember is there's not a lot of damage for Supernova. You know, Rhaegar and Karzim are both, I'd say, the two supports that can do the most consistent damage, obviously with the Lightning Shield and the Bite from the Wolf, and Karzim's just nature with this Iron Fist and how much damage he does. So there's that additional damage in terms of supports, but it's not a comp that like scales into the late game where you look at damage and go, okay, well, like once we hit 16, like they're going to be so powerful. Right. Bloodlust is going to give you some extra movement, and it's going to make it a lot easier to collapse and use this really tanky front line to get on top of heroes and try to kill them, like Jaina, for example. So the timing of good finishing his advanced ice block, that's something we have to really look towards as well. Going to invade here. Again, Good's the target. They're starting to make this work.
And Good just evaporates exactly like you said, trying to get onto Jaina and force her to have a bad day. Looks like the next target will be Haben, who does explode immediately afterwards, and Tempest are turning this back around. Dami's a little bit vulnerable, but he does have the mobility to get back to his cannon tower and stay alive.
Kirisaku gets caught there as well over the wall into the fort range. That ends up being a trade for Tempest. These engages for Supernova have some, there's like some promise to it. There is, you know, you could feel the outlines of what this comp is designed to do. Very heavy dive, even the commitment of the Dahaka in for the engage. We talked about how Dahaka is one of the picks for this team they've used a lot this season. It's been mostly for global presence and soak, but in this series, it feels like it's been used just for ganking. And in this particular game, you know, it started off good. They were able to steal the camp, but they didn't get anything else.
Not again. I mean, he is just so tanky. That Garrosh pick, I mean, you're starting to see why it's such a good pick here into Supernova. He just is essentially unkillable when he gets down to low health.
Well, the other things to remember, too, with the comp with Tempest, when you talk about some of these engages where obviously Sign is able to escape, Supernova has almost no range damage. It's really Fan of Knives, and that's it. So Jaina slows this melee-heavy comp just by her passive, so that makes it very difficult to actually win a longer fight. Good angle here for Kirisaku, though. Good. I don't think he gets out of this one alive.
Yeah, his positioning has been a liability for Tempest. I mean, we're only 3 minutes in, but I mean, he's just been, I think, 2 out of 3 of their deaths.
Yeah. Now, this does end up being, I think, a win for Tempest because they have Yrel pushing hard in the top lane right now. But it could have been, if they had gotten a second kill there for Supernova, I think it would have been their advantage. Either way, it's not the end of the world for either squad. But the picks on the Good mean that he does need a position better, like you say. And while he's dying, he's not getting his stack damage for his advanced ice block, which is his big survivability tool against this heavy dive style. So he needs to make sure he's surviving. This is going to be a little bit of extra stack damage. For those who don't know, advanced ice block is built from doing damage, bonus damage with his trait, which means when he hits someone with one of his spells, they get slowed, which is called chilled. And then the follow-up spells do extra damage. That bonus damage built up to, I think it's 15,000 damage. It's either 10 or 15. I'm just drawing up mind fart on this one. Will eventually give you the ice block. So once he builds that, then he can have invulnerability on a fairly low cooldown to avoid these heavy dive styles. I mean, rotations, I should say.
Yeah, super, super important. And the more you get shut down early, the harder it is to gain that. Now, let's not get it twisted, right? Game 1, Supernova had a little bit of an advantage. We were like, and then we all exhaled simultaneously as they got stomped after, I think it was like level 8 or so. Now, Lockdown, it could be the one to get cut out, tethered back, knocked up, taken down. Sign coming in seemingly to donate himself, but he's got the rest of the team right back behind him, and of course he is infinitely tanky, or at least seems so.
So the ally there from Karazim actually is what allowed them to disengage, because it actually took the aggro from the fort. That was really well played by Alex. Very technical play there, as Dami's just like, Kurisaku.
Get out of here.
He's like, I'm Urel. Watch out.
I mean, but Kurisaku does take control of that point momentarily, but it should be noted the camp advantage is still in Tempest's favor up there. So another big engage here by Supernova. They catch Sign out, but just look at this tanky guy. 50 armor, just about. He does finally fall, but he buys so much time for the rest of Tempest to come in.
Tempest is just not willing to give this Dragon Knight up. They don't want this game to snowball away from them. Alex looks like he's going to be able to get away with this Wolf Run here. Dami very low. Will they get Kurisaku, who's got no mana? He is dead, and they are able to turn this fight.
Indeed they are. I mean, Supernova are not giving this up. Neither team willing to give up this Dragon Knight. Supernova have the shrines, but I mean, they do need to actually put damage down onto the enemy team. It was difficult until Hyde gets caught out. Haven with an immaculate engage, and he's looking for more. This time on to Good, who will pop again, and Supernova are coming out ahead on these fights.
They certainly are. The macro element here, though, onto this top port is going in favor of Tempest. Knows Tempest is still ahead in experience because of this camp that pushed down the wall, because of Urel constantly getting that damage done in the top lane, constantly able to soak there. And look at the map. The timing of these kills actually works better for Tempest. They get the Unleash. Sign's just going to try to get that Unleash off. Will be interrupted. He's just threatening right now as they bait. Dami comes in.
Little Scarab there to stop the cap. Haven gets away. Hyde tossed forward, locking him up. Haven secured. Another scare, or actually the, not sure exactly what canceled Dami there, but still consistent pressure. And no Dragon Knight just yet.
Yep. Taken away in the top lane there by Kurisaku is the Sun Shrine. 10's up for both sides. We're definitely going to see the Absorb, you have to imagine, for Urel. Don't think there's really much of an argument for the kind of defensive placement there, because you're going to be CC displaced. It is the Bloodlust. This was obvious to me. This is going to be a Bloodlust comp, 7-sided. Let's see if they can execute this post-10 very well. It's Earthquake, actually, which was one of the big questions, because both Sundering and Earthquake, I think, have a place here, but Earthquake is the safer play overall. When they're trying to collapse onto you, it kind of counteracts the movement speed from Bloodlust.
Right.
This is just kind of funny to watch. Kurisaku gets another tongue grab here.
Yeah, but ultimately that's kind of an unwinnable 1v1, so control of that top shrine does go over to Tempest. Luckily, Supernova have control of the bottom one, so it's going to be a little bit of a moot point in the end. I just want to see a 5v5 Wolf. Honestly, we talked about how well-drafted both teams are in Supernova going aggressive with that Bloodlust. Here we might get our chance! That is going to be an insta-jib on to Karazim. He is out of there. Is there a way to come back? Hyde low, gets out of the fight. Sign low as well. Silence up. The isolation kills him off there at the end.
Haven's so low, but he survives. He gets the heal here. Alex will not be so lucky. Doesn't end up getting taken down here. Re-engage from Haven. Dami actually survives this. Good. Gets his advanced ice block. He hits that 15k damage. And now Kurisaku getting body blocked out. Can't get over the wall. So much extra damage coming through. The Avenging Wrath.
Oh, wow. I think he actually might have been able to turn it around onto Dami, but always vulnerable, so gets out there. I thought that was going to go much worse for Supernova, but in the end, they save a couple of lives, and they're going to be back in time to deny the Dragon Knight.
Okay, Dami actually cannot stay here. He's going to have to have Avenging Wrath over the wall. Yep. Really smart play there.
Grab, probably missed.
Meanwhile, what happened with Bentham over here? I don't
know. Okay, he exploded there. Like a hefty bag full of tomato sauce.
I know we like to joke a lot, but like our observer caught all of that. That was pretty impressive.
No, this is actually sick observing. You got to be aware of so many different things. It's even catching me off guard, which I guess isn't that hard to do. But still impressive. 7-sided onto Lockdown. Whoa, where was he at? Getting taken out immediately, and now Hyde vulnerable, but with a punt away there, at least the Dragon Knight will come in to save the day.
In Lockdown's defense, it's weird that Supernova was there in general. They wanted to try to make a greedy pick happen. They are successful, but they didn't touch the Dragon Knight at all. So as a result, this whole wall goes down for free. Tempest is going to get a lot out of this Dragon Knight. The pick alone isn't worth, you know, allowing this Dragon Knight to do so much damage. However, now the rest of the squad splits off to grab Soak. So this isn't really a well escorted Dragon Knight, you could say. Dami is just going to get the second wall here and then probably retreat with the 20 seconds he's got left. But still, I think probably could have been a little bit more optimal on Supernova. They got the pick, though. Ends up being all right.
Right, and they're going to save their bottom wall, or at least most of it, but oh, now Kirisaku might be in a little bit of a rough spot. The burrow, only
and
moment.
his trait used, so that's actually very expensive. He dies and loses his essence. That is a very bad, feels bad man moment for sure.
Yeah, it's going to take him a long time to build that back up. And so he goes down and is not here for what
Bloodlust.
it could be a very important fight. Bloodlust countered out by that Earthquake, and I think in the end, just being a man down is way too painful. It's a big turnaround, though. I think Supernova are doing actually an excellent job. Good dives through his ice block. And that Bloodlust, you could really see that being so important. Supernova dominate the fight.
Tempest, I think, having their eyes too big here, looking for this fight. They do get the camp, but I mean, it's insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Sign does get hit here by this isolation. It's going to be a full wipe.
Kirisaku getting a little bit of vengeance there at the end, able to brush stock in and turn that or finish off the fight, the full wipe.
The camp that they stole because of the heavy commitment for Supernova to try to get the kills there will, I think, get the top 4. It's going to be close.
Oh yeah, because it's going to walk around the opposite way.
Yeah, it's going to be close because there are minions over there, but I think it will just barely get the fort before it goes down. Meanwhile, they're going to get counterwise, get this wall. Supernova's taken a level lead. Tempest needs to...
Ooh, not quite getting the fort.
I think Tempest needs to just continue to play disciplined and not try to make flashy plays. Dami, for example, has been aggressively jumping in, getting himself caught, forcing Garrosh to peel for him. And we're seeing Sign actually be the first to die in a lot of these fights. Like,
yeah, and
this is not like the epitome of high-level Korean Heroes of the Storm in this 26 kill games pre 12 minutes.
This is going to be a bloodbath. You guys like kills and action, this game is for you. There will be no resident sleepers allowed in chat because this is going to be all action all the time. And I really love it, right? I mean, Bloodlust comes from always fun to cast, but specifically when you have like the Earthquake to counter it, there's the idea that Tempest still want to fight that heads up. It's just not working out.
Yeah, it's been, honestly, a little bit rough for Tempest with how they've been playing this game thus far. But I think it's self-inflicted.
I mean,
based on how they've been playing this. I mean, Good has had, I think of the 5 players, Good has had some great moments.
Yeah.
Like, he has been able to turn a lot of these fights. He got his ice block very quickly. But now it's just time to tighten it up. Discipline, I think, is what's required here to make sure that they can turn this game. Okay, we're going to actually see the Cocoon committed here, so no chat can try to get this. They're committing into a bad fight. Again, Tempest. Like, literally, how could you be more suicidal in this engage? They may be able to turn it, though, because Kirisaku gets caught, gets hit by the Twilight Dream.
Yeah, a big move to take him out, removing that mobility. He gets taken out, and that's I guess a win for Tempest. It's 2 for 1, so that's got to feel good. They do have to capture the shrines in order to get the Dragon Knight, so at least that will not be an objective that Supernova give up with that loss.
I mean, against a team of higher caliber mechanics, that engage for Tempest would have resulted in them being team wiped, and they would have actually died. Dami is going to get caught here. It's not much of a gate to run back to, but we see the full rotation up here now.
Haben, I think, a little bit overzealous. Thinking that Davi was more vulnerable, he goes down for it.
This is a clown fiesta, by the way. I'm going to use the official term for this game we're watching right now. 30 kills. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to say 30 kills. I'm going to say 30 deaths in this game.
That's a good way of putting it.
17 minutes.
Do they really count as kills when the team just dives in and just hopes for the best? I don't know. But
this game is for the fans.
That's true.
Tempest gets the Dragon Knight. And they are going to try to push towards a keep wall. It's 14 minutes in now, so they have the chance to do some real permanent damage here to the innards of Supernova's base.
And normally, you would think this gives Tempest an advantage, but with the way this game is going, who knows? All the heroic cooldowns are back up for Supernova, so hey, they're good to go again.
Yeah, I mean, death timers are pretty low, so...
Just waiting on Haven to get into the fight. Kirisaku is stalking off to the side. Waiting. Watching.
Haven's like, you see this in Ubrok when Ray? Watch me dive into the ground.
Oh, okay, he's gonna get flipped over. Does burrow, so he's going to be okay for now. Earthquake's used off to the side. Bloodlust has yet to be popped here, so they're waiting for the right spot, and here they go.
Huge Twilight Dream here. They forgot about that element, dove on top of the Malfurion, and ends up being a huge silence, and that is going to be what wins them the game. They did this without their primary DPS. Good was in the Dragon Knight. Okay, the Dragon Knight does some damage.
I mean, that's the best place for him to be, right? He has no help. He gets dove and taken out every fight. So finally, they put him in the Dragon Knight, and turns out that's where he is supposed to be.
I guarantee you he gave a lot of consideration to canceling the Dragon Knight to do some damage, but it just didn't end up being required, okay? This is going to be the end of the series, a 3-0 win for Tempest here. 18 kills to 16. Can we make it 19? Does anyone say 19?
Can I get a 19? And Alex is gonna give it to us.
19 to 16. Sorry for the misspeak a few seconds before.
Wow, well, how could you?
3-0 victory here to close out our second to last day of the regular season. Already Good is pulling out. I thought he was pulling out his backpack. He's ready to go home.
He is out of here. Well, anyway, it did look good there for Tempest. Not quite business as usual for that final game, but putting one in there for the fans. A nice high kill kind of fiesta. And you can see some smiles on Supernova's faces. They do realize they were the underdogs coming into this matchup, and they gave it all they had there at the end.
Oh, sign. Wearing the daddy shorts out here.
those are definitely esports dad shorts.
Those are the esports dad shorts as he comes in. He's like, all right, thanks. Thankfully, we got the 3-0. He's like, I got to
go home and change some diapers after this, man. This is only part of the important part of his day. It is, he's got a long day ahead of him. But at least this half of it is over.
So, unfortunately, no chat on the Karzim did not top the damage charge. It was still Bantam. I was excited to see that possibility occur, but it's not actually the case. A
small difference.
That's with Bantam having 4 deaths as well, twice the deaths. Still, Karzim not quite the DPS yet. But, I mean, this game, there's nothing to say about this. I guess it was FUN, okay?
That's true.
That, I mean, a 35 death game in chaotic situations where both teams were having some fun.
Yeah, I mean, in some sense, the teams were friends who did things together, and I guess you and me were here to cast the game. I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole, but it was